Gal, Virginia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hempstead Town's 2020 induction of elected officials. Please join us in welcoming the Nassau County Police Department pipes and drums as they lead the presentation of officials.
Beats all records.
Everybody have a seat. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome you to today's town board meeting. It's an honor to have everyone here today and be up here with my colleagues. If I may, Town Clerk Murray, will you please call the roll?
With my pleasure. Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman Blakeman.
Here.
Councilman Carini.
Here.
Councilman D'Esposito.
Proud to be here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby. Councilman Muscarella.
Present.
Receiver of Taxes Janine Driscoll. Here. We have a quorum.
All right. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to suspend the normal town board meeting rules of procedure.
So moved.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Yes.
Councilman Blakeman.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye. Going down?
Call the meeting to the end of the meeting. I move that we rejoin the meeting. Adjourn.
Adjourn?
Yes.
All right.
I didn't say it.
Yep, go on. We're going down.
The town calls upon the Color Guard unit from the 2nd Battalion, 25th Marine Corps of Garden City to present the colors. We are honored today to have with us Rabbi Mordecai Kamenetsky of the Yeshiva of South Shore to offer the invocation.
It's nice to know that I'm the first one breaking the protocol. Supervisor, Senator, County Executive, members of the Town Board, let us pray. Avinu Shevashamayim, our Father in heaven, we the citizens of the great state of New York and in this wonderful town of Hempstead are gathered here to give honor and bestow our blessings upon our newly elected Town of Hempstead Supervisor Donald X. Clavin and the members of the Town Board. Over the many decades that I and so many of us have known him, we have seen in him the qualities of leadership, a good friend, an honest leader, a man whose cheerful and compassionate embrace encompasses all the citizens of Hempstead, wealthy or poor, Jew or Gentile, with no distinction in race, color, creed, or religion. We pray to you, Almighty God, that you confer upon him your divine inspiration, guidance, and wisdom. Grace him with your compassion and balance. Guide him to lead in your spirit. We beseech you, Almighty, in this time of our state and our country's great need, to bestow harmony and selflessness and a spirit of goodwill upon all of our elected officials so that they yearn to give from themselves toward the greater good in peace, friendship, camaraderie, and in harmony. And at this historic moment, when the Jewish community, the community in which I was raised, in the spirit of camaraderie, which my father devoted his whole life to cultivate, under the congruence of the greater community, is under attack, attacks of bias and hate. We beseech you, Almighty God, to grant our newly elected supervisor the vision and leadership to be a driving force for harmony and tolerance and an outspoken censor of the recent stain on the American vision and on the American dream and wishes of our community. He has been a unifier and a healer, and God willing, with your help, Almighty, he will continue to do so. We pray that you grant Supervisor Clayton the grace and the charisma in which he'll use the very voices of our community in all of its 22 villages and 35 hamlets with nearly 800,000 citizens from the North Shore to the South Shore, from Point Lookout to Long Beach, to the wetlands of Lawrence, the ball fields and parks of Woodmere, Cedars, Oceanside, Atlantic Beach, Belrose, Floral Park, East Meadow, Elmont, the entire greater town of Hempstead, the greatest town in the United States of America. Guide him to harmonize all of us as he helps the citizens of our community, be they in public schools, private schools, churches or synagogues, mosques, or other places of worship, or in their own homes, in the spirit of friendship, unity, and camaraderie. Instill within him a sense of responsibility, the same responsibility that he bore so well for years as a receiver of our taxes, faithfully, diligently carrying out the fiduciary responsibilities and integrities of his office with the utmost veracity and reliability. And we pray that the spirit of renewal and harmony under the leadership of our supervisor suffuses the office of our governor, Governor Cuomo, all the members of this New York State Senate and Assembly, to be able to work harmoniously with one vision with our town to help us move forward. And may God bless and bestow his blessings upon all our town members, Mrs. Dorothy Gusby, Thomas Mascarello, Mr. Bruce Blakeman, Mr. Anthony Desposito, Mr. Dennis Dunn, Senior, Mr. Chris Carini, and Ms. Jeanette Driscoll, the receiver of taxes, to work in harmony with our new supervisor for the greater good of all of us in this most wonderful town. Don, may God bless you and your wife, your wonderful family I just met, your staff and supporters, and all the members of the Hempstead Town Board to do your work in good faith, good cheer, good spirit, and let the eyes of the Almighty shine his countenance upon you with great grace, great blessing, great love, and let us all say amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Kamenetsky. And now the town would like to call upon Councilman Dennis Dunn, who served our country in the Vietnam War and is an advocate for fellow veterans and a dedicated public servant. Councilman Dunn will lead us in the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance.
All those covered, right hand salute. Everybody else, hand over heart. And join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dunn. Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. Here to perform the Star Spangled Banner is a talented singer, Christopher Macchio.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors at star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Christopher. U.S. Marine Corps Color Guard, please retire the colors. Please be seated. In a moment, we'll be having a brief video presentation.
Welcome to our town of Hempstead. Come on in and meet everyone who is here to help you.
Welcome to the mail room. Welcome to the print shop.
Welcome to custodial.
Welcome to the Department of General Services.
Welcome to Human Resources.
Welcome to the Civil Service Commission.
Welcome to Controllers.
Welcome to Norman J. Levy Park and Preserve.
Welcome to Highways. Welcome to the Office of the Receiver of Taxes.
Welcome to Tourism.
Welcome to the Building Department.
Welcome to Conservation and Waterways.
Welcome to Aquatics.
Welcome to IT.
Welcome to Veteran Services.
Welcome to Photo.
Welcome to Sanitation.
Welcome to Public Safety.
Welcome to Senior Enrichment.
Welcome to the Town Clerk's Office. Welcome to the Bay Constables.
Welcome to Parks and Recreation.
Welcome to the Department of Occupational Resources.
Hempstead is your town, and we stand here ready to serve you.
I now introduce Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby, who recently marked her 20th year of service to the town of Hempstead as a member of the Hempstead Town Board, to offer welcoming remarks.
Good morning. And thank you, God, for giving us a beautiful day. There's no rain, and there's a little sunshine, but it's just a little bit cool, but still, we're here. And it's a very, very important day for each and every one of us that's here. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to Hempstead Town's induction ceremony. Today, we will swear in the newly elected members of the Town Council, the Town Clerk, the Receiver of Taxes, Don, and of course, our new Supervisor, Donald Clavin, Jr. There are some familiar faces returning and some new faces joining our team. But the key word is that we are a team. We are a team. We're fortunate to have such a great team that will work together to ensure that our residents' best interests are addressed. I'm truly looking forward to working with our new team. And don't worry, I'll keep my eyes on them. It is fitting as we embark on this new decade that I am celebrating my 20th year of service to the town of Hempstead as the most senior member of the town board, and as well as the first African-American woman to serve on the town board. I could not be happier to be starting the next step of my journey alongside Supervisor Donald Clavin and a town board I truly believe in. I know I am not alone when I say I expect great things to come from these leaders. And I'm discussing and I've decided I'm going to make sure that we get together as soon as this meeting is over so that we can provide the best possible services to the residents of the town of Hempstead. And we will continue to cut spending and reduce taxes. We have a responsibility to make a difference, and I have faith that together we will lead this great township, the largest town in the state of New York and the largest town in the United States of America, in the next decade with innovative and transformative ideas which will only make this town great, as we are great. We call it home, a greater place to call home. That's how great we're going to work. We're going to work together, all of us. I now like to introduce my fellow colleague on the town board and a dear friend, Councilman Anthony D. Esposito, to the podium to introduce our distinguished guests.
Well, thank you very much, and how about a round of applause for our great senior councilwoman, Dorothy Gooseby. I want to thank Supervisor Clavin for giving me the opportunity this morning to introduce distinguished guests that have joined with us for this historic moment here in the town of Hempstead. We'd like to welcome our Lieutenant Governor from the state of New York, Kathy Hochul. Former supervisor and former United States Senator, the second favorite son of Island Park, Senator Alphonse D'Amato. A fighter for Long Island, our great Congressman Peter King. Former Supervisor Greg Peterson. Former Supervisor Rich Guardino. Our county executive, we appreciate her being here with us this morning, Laura Curran. Our district attorney, thank you for being here this morning, Madeline Singas. The county clerk we all love, Maureen O'Connell. Representing our county legislature, our presiding officer, Rich Nicolello. Legislator John Ferretti. Legislator Bill Gaylor. Legislator Tom McKevitt. Legislator Vinnie Muscarella. Legislator Laura Schaefer. Assemblywoman Missy Miller. The Chairman of the Independence Party, Rick Belando. Chairman of the Conservative Party, Daniel Donovan. The Chairman of the Nassau County Republican Committee, former Councilman Joe Cairo. Former State Senator Elaine Phillips. A great friend to Don and the team here in the town of Hempstead. He works so hard each and every year collecting toys for thousands of young children throughout our state that really need help. He deserves a round of applause, and he remains in our prayers, and that's our great friend, Major Chuck Kilbride. Former Councilman Gary Hughes. Former Councilwoman Linda Reed. Former Councilman Joe Ra. The President of my alma mater, Hofstra University, Stu Rabinowitz. Someone who worked so hard for the workforce here in the town of Hempstead for many years. Great that he's with us here this morning. The former president of CSEA Local 880, Charlie Solito. Former Senator Mike Balboni. Assemblyman Ed Ra. From the village of Cedarhurst, Mayor Ben Weinstock. From the village of East Rockaway, Mayor Bruno Romano. From the village of Floral Park, Mayor Dominic Longobardi. From the village of Hempstead, Mayor Don Ryan. From my hometown, Mayor Michael McGinty from Island Park. From the village of Lawrence, Mayor Alex Edelman. From the village of Lynbrook, Mayor Alan Beach. From the village of Rockville Center, Mayor Fran Murray. And they work hard each and every day on the front lines, especially in the world that we live in now, keeping our communities safe. And they are led by a great friend, a great man, and he's here with us this morning. Let's hear it for Nassau County Police Commissioner Patty Ryder. And that leadership wouldn't be done alone. He does it with his partners in labor and law enforcement, and representing the Nassau County PBA, a great friend, Jimmy McDermott. From the Nassau County Detectives Association, John Wighouse. And from the Superior Officers Association, Kevin Black. We'd also like to welcome from the Long Island region of CSEA, Nick Lamort. And from CSEA Local 830 in Nassau County, Jerry Larachuda. And now the team that leads our great workforce here in America's largest town, led by none other than our president of CSEA Local 880, Teresa Kahutka. And the members of her board, Pete Giordano, John Flanagan, Robert Bojacki, Justin Blasich, Eric Ferrone, Morris Ware, and Michael Errico. We also want to welcome from the Village of Hempstead, Trustee Lamont Johnson. From Temple Hillel, Rabbi Graber. From the Indian American Forum, their chairperson, Indu Jaiswal. Judge Joy Watson. Zaid Zaid. From the Chabad of Hewlett, Rabbi Tenenbaum. From the Chabad of Merrick, Rabbi Kramer. We'd also like to welcome the Deputy Mayor of the Village of Rockville Center, Kathy Baxley. A trustee from the Village of Floral Park, Lynn Pomboño. From the Village of Hempstead, Deputy Mayor Charles Renfro. From the Village of East Rockaway, Deputy Mayor Gordon Fox. The Chief of the Lynbrook Police Department, Brian Palladino. We'd like to once again thank the members of the pipe bands that played for us while we began this presentation. We also want to welcome Kevin Mulrooney, serves as president, Chief Billy Wade, Treasurer Pete Begley, and a Sergeant at Arms, a great friend, also a commissioner from the Lakeview Fire Department, Commissioner Heather McNeil. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the inauguration of our supervisor, Donald X. Clavin.
Thank you, Councilman. And please join me in welcoming a special guest to address our audience today, all the way from our state capital in Albany, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul.
Lieutenant Governor, I apologize. I would never jump in front of you like this, but I just need to make one more introduction. He's a great friend to Don and the entire team. He worked very hard on their behalf, and let's hear it for Bobby Kumar.
Good morning. I just have one question. Anybody in this audience not have their name called? Because let's give a round of applause to all three of you who were not first. No. But that is a testament to the joyousness of this occasion, that all of you wanted to be here to celebrate a new era in town government, and to be joined by so many individuals, good friends of ours, people that have been on my political journey. And I start with my former colleague in Congress, Pete King, who was probably the nicest Republican to me in the entire House of Representatives. Peter was the chair of the Homeland Security Committee, and I was a junior member, and he was always very kind and gracious, and so we continue to this day to be friends. And also to our former Senator Al D'Amato. It's been a great privilege to have worked with you in many capacities over the years, and to think about your great legacy. And I'm also struck by the fact that you keep talking about Hempstead as being the biggest town in America. I got news for you. You're bigger than 4 states. So I was just wondering, now it's up to you, but you know, if you ever wanted to like have your own senators, you'd actually be entitled. And I've got a guy right here who actually has got a little experience. So you do what you want, Hempstead. But to have worked with you and to my good friends in county government, Laura Gillen and Madeline Singas, I thank you for your extraordinary leadership, leading a complicated community, but you've been great allies of our governor, getting things done. So to the two of you as well. And to Maureen O'Connell, I'm a former county clerk as well, so I know what it's like to be a county clerk in communities like this. I've actually spent 14 years as a town board member, so I've lived in your shoes, and I know what it's like when you go to the grocery store and you can't get anything done because everyone wants to tell you about the sewer that's broken in their house or something that's gone wrong. Or I'm from Buffalo. There's always someone who told me that my snowplow knocked over their mailbox. And I just got used to saying, no, the highway superintendent knocked over your mailbox. I wouldn't do that to you. So I understand the challenges and the joys that come with being able to be at that closest level of government where you are connected to the people. And having served in every level of government that exists except for school board, I can say that I miss those days most of all because this is where the people look to you directly. You don't have to go get a huge legislature or Congress or someone else to agree with you. You get your colleagues in local government and you can get things done. And so I want to just commend Don and your entire team now for the opportunity that lies before you. And you come for this with tremendous experience, not just your time as receiver of taxes, but it's in your DNA to have a mother who is a trustee and a father who is a judge. That tells me that they instilled in you the powerful values associated with public service. And it is not for everybody. It is a little bit rough and tumble. But for those who answer that call, I would say there is no greater opportunity to serve your fellow man. And as the rabbi hearkened us to do, to find places where there's harmony. And as we know, elections occur, but then on a day like today, we begin to govern, and we govern together. And I come here with a hand reached out in friendship from Governor Cuomo and our administration because we have started so many critical projects to the livelihood of Long Islanders, but particularly here in Hempstead. Our projects to rebuild storm resiliency so we are never again victimized the way we were after Superstorm Sandy. And we are ready for this. We are taking proactive steps to make sure that our citizens and our businesses are protected. What we're doing at the Nassau Hub, extraordinary investments there to bring new life there. The Belmont Park Arena, what's happening there, bringing the Long Islanders back to Long Island. We are so excited. Yes, indeed. I'm from Buffalo, but that's okay. When I'm here, I'm an Islanders fan. And so we talk about even Jones Beach. I mean, I think about how many times I've seen senior member Dorothy Gooseby and Bruce and others at something I have to say is just an incredibly touching event at Point Lookout on 9/11 when we gather. I have such a strong sense of hope in America when I leave that event every single year because of the patriotism and the love of country that is on display at that event. But we've had to invest in places like Jones Beach to make sure that America's, and they say East Coast best beach, I'm saying America's greatest beach is preserved and protected and is there for millions to enjoy every year. So this is a community that has unbelievable assets. And now you have leadership that is going to work closely with us as we continue to make announcements to bring back downtowns like Baldwin, $10 million for the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, and so many other investments that we want to continue. We can't do it alone in Albany. We need local partners on the ground. And that partnership for the town of Hempstead begins once again anew today. And so I congratulate you, Supervisor, the entire board, to all of you in this community. And I look forward to continuing my many visits out here with a shovel in hand or scissors in hand as we welcome new projects to this community. So congratulations. God bless the great town of Hempstead, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Hochul. And please join me in welcoming another special guest today, one of our esteemed representatives in Washington, D.C., and a former member of the Hempstead Town Board, Congressman Peter King.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor Hochul. And again, working with Kathy in Washington was an absolute privilege. She is a dedicated public servant, and really proud to see her here today, and thank her for taking the time to be with all of us. It's a really great honor. It was, as I was coming up here and deciding what to say, I thought back to 42 years ago when I was sworn in, and Al D'Amato was the presiding supervisor. And then each councilman was called up to say a few words. And as I was on the way up, I was going to lay out my agenda for the town of Hempstead, my platform, and all my great ideas. And Al grabbed me and said, if you speak for more than 30 seconds, you'll never speak again on this board. So keeping that in mind, I'll keep my remarks brief. Seriously, the time that I spent on the town board, it was really a great opportunity. I just wish in Congress today we get half the work done that the Hempstead Town Board gets done, because this is really a model for good government. And I'm again proud to be here with all of you. I want to especially congratulate Don Clavin. It is to me so important that he is our town supervisor. He's dedicated. He's hardworking. He has the really his hand on the pulse of the people. He knows what's going on. He's a man from the community. I had the privilege years ago of knowing his father, Judge Clavin, who was just an outstanding human being, outstanding person. But Don really, as he went around campaigning, as he's done over the years, as receiver of taxes, the work that he does, he understands what's going on. He understands the problems people have. He knows that things will be going well, but he also knows there's problems that have to be addressed. And he will have the guts and the courage and the foresight to address those problems, working with all the members of the town board. I want to congratulate him on his victory. I want to congratulate all the other members of the town board for the job that they are going to do for their election victory. And also, again, knowing that we have to stand together. Dorothy Gooseby hit it on the head. You have to be a team. You have to work together. We can't, there's enough blind partisanship in Washington. Don't let it come to the town of Hempstead. Just work hard. Do what you've been doing all along. And again, it's a great tradition, the greatest town in America. And now you're going to have the greatest supervisor in America, Don Clavin. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Before we continue with the program, we have two more dignitaries that we'd like to recognize. Former Assemblyman Charles O'Shea and former Councilman Joe Carney. The town of Hempstead now invites the Honorable Joseph G. Cairo, Jr., Chairman of the Nassau County Republican Committee and former town councilman, to address the audience.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's hear it for Don Clavin. So just following up on what the Lieutenant Governor said, those three people who weren't introduced, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge, because I saw that he was not acknowledged earlier, but he worked very hard on this campaign, and he's a great guy, and we've had pizza together on Meacham Avenue and Teddy's, and that's Junior Perkins. Junior, thank you and your group. Secondly, Anthony made reference to Senator D'Amato, and incidentally, it's my pleasure today because back in the 1970s, Senator D'Amato, then Supervisor D'Amato, and then Presiding Supervisor, Councilman Peterson, Councilman Guardino, Councilman King, and I all got to serve together. And it was really a great time, and I'm very proud to have been part of that team and to be here today with you. But Anthony, you mentioned that Senator D'Amato is the second favorite son of Island Park. I'm just wondering where Armin is. I don't see him here today. Island Park's favorite son. So to all the dignitaries who are here today, to the Lieutenant Governor, to the District Attorney, our County Executive, Laura Curran, and to all of you, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that today we're swearing in Donald Clavin. Last year was a challenging year for us. And we had a very popular town clerk from the other party and someone from the other party who was the first person to be elected to that office as supervisor in 100 years. So we had to put a team together. And looking back, we kind of compared it to 1992. 1992, some of you may remember, was the Olympics in Barcelona, and the United States put together the Dream Team with Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And I dare say that last year we had a dream team right here in the town of Hempstead. You know, it was difficult because with only 5 or 6 weeks left in the campaign, one of our candidates, Erin, Peter's daughter, had to move out of state. And I think that it was a very challenging time. And let me tell you, no one could have come off the bench and played harder and worked harder than Chris Carini. You did a great job, and congratulations. Tommy Muscarella brings a great tradition. continues it here. In 1975, I succeeded his dad as a councilman from the Elmont area. And Tommy, you worked hard. You're a great young man. You're going to have a great future, and congratulations, Tommy. Bruce Blakeman. Bruce Blakeman is the veteran. He's been around. He really solidified the 5 towns. He led us all, and thank you, Bruce, for your great effort. Replacing Don Clavin wasn't easy, but Janine Driscoll, what a great candidate, an even nicer person, and congratulations to our new tax receiver. During the campaign, whenever I introduced her, I just said 2 words, Kate Murray. Kate, great job, the ultimate team player. And Donald Clavin, you know, Don's been in office a long time. He put it all on the line. You know, he decided to run for supervisor, and he gave up that receiver's office where we felt confident he would be reelected. So he put it all on the line. He went out there, he worked hard, ran a great campaign. He's going to be a great supervisor. Congratulations, Don. And then we have 2 of our members who weren't on the field this year, but they were key. They worked so very hard. That, of course, is Councilman Dennis Dunn and Anthony D'Esposito. Thank you. And as the Lieutenant Governor said, politics is now behind us. We're talking about governing. We're talking about government. And though she wears a different uniform, she does what she thinks and believes in her heart is right. She's a great elected official. Thank you, Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Guzbick. And if I may, those of you who know me know that I'm not a public speaker. I'm a storyteller. So I asked Don if I could tell one story today, and he said I could, as long as I was brief. We're blessed today to have the clergy with us. And, you know, every team in sports, and even every team has a chaplain. And we're very lucky today to have 3 prominent members of the community here in Nassau County to join with us. But before I mention them, I said that every team has a chaplain. And I'm going to relate back to before the Olympics. There was a day when Notre Dame, long after Peter and I left the campus, there's a day when Notre Dame was rated #1 in the country in football, and Miami was #2. They had a big game coming up in South Bend. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Notre Dame is a Catholic university. The official name is Notre Dame du Lac, Our Lady of the Lake, and above the administration building, the Gold Dome, has Mary, a statue of Mary above it. And so Miami comes up, and unfortunately, perhaps that year, they were dubbed as the Convicts. So the game was played up in newspapers, the Catholics against the Convicts. And the day before the game on Friday, as is normal, the Miami team, the visitors, they were out on the field in the stadium, feeling the turf to see how soft it was, and looking up to see where the scoreboard was with the game clock, and just becoming familiar. And they brought a Catholic priest with them. His name was Father Kennedy. And he was their chaplain for the convicts. And he's out on the field, and as Miami is finishing up their walkthrough and they're heading off the field, the Notre Dame coach comes out. When he comes out, the Catholic priest goes up to him and he says to him, "You know, Coach, I'm Father Kennedy. I'm the University of Miami chaplain." He says, "Father, how are you?" He says, "I'm fine." He says, "You know, Coach, I want to tell you one thing. Even though Notre Dame's a Catholic university, God isn't cheering for either team tomorrow." And Coach looked at him and said, "But his mother is." So today, they're all cheering together. Not cheering for Republicans or against Democrats. We're cheering about good government. Don, you've been given a challenge, as has the rest of the town board. And that challenge is to do a good job. And many years ago when we first started, Senator D'Amato took us to the 5 towns, and there was a man down there, well, Pete DeCibio was the patriarch of the party, and he was Mr. Inwood. There was a man alongside him who always did everything for everyone, regardless of race, religion, or creed. His name was Rabbi Kamenetsky, and we're so blessed to have his son here with us today. Thank you, Rabbi. I went to Bishop Watson's anniversary, and I got to tell you how uplifting. They played the music, the bishop came in, all of his congregants were there. Bishop, You're so popular in the community. You're the president of the Long Island Council. And thank you so very much for all that you give to the community. Thank you, Bishop Watson. And I'm lucky because I live in North Valley Stream and we're in Our Lady of Lourdes Parish, and we have a young pastor there, Father Duffy. And let me just say this. If you're ever down, regardless of your religion, if you're not in a good mood and life is getting you down, go to Our Lady of Lourdes on a Saturday or Sunday, listen to him preach, and I guarantee you, you'll leave church feeling a lot better. Father Duffy, thank you for all you do. Donald and the town board, to mention sports one more time, you've been given a challenge. Work together with the county executive, with the governor, work with the Assembly and the Senate, and if you do, just remember one thing. You'll play like a champion today. Congratulations. Go get it.
Before we continue with the program, we have 3 more dignitaries to introduce. We have Judge Bogle. We have Lawrence Deputy Mayor Michael Fragan. And Rockville Center Trustee Emilio Grillo. It has been said that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Though Don Clavin is being newly inducted as supervisor, he certainly knows the town of Hempstead. During his 18-year tenure as receiver of taxes, Don Clavin redefined the receiver's office. He certainly goes the way by bringing a legacy of innovation to the Hempstead Town Supervisor's Office. As receiver, he transformed the Hempstead Town Tax Office into a model for municipal tax offices across the region. Clavin also implemented a number of programs and services to make the tax payment process more convenient for town residents. He redesigned tax bills to make them easier to understand and demonstrate exactly how tax dollars are being spent. He extended office hours, deployed mobile and satellite payment locations, and unveiled New York's first paperless e-billing system and Long Island's first auto-pay tax payment feature. Don Clavin even opened the Easy Pay drive-through tax payment windows at the Receiver of Taxes office in Hempstead. Sometimes you often see him there collecting the taxes at the drive-through. Don Clavin plans to bring the same type of innovation to the office of Town Supervisor. Understanding the property tax burden that homeowners face in our region, Don certainly shows the way, as he hosted hundreds upon hundreds of free how-to seminars in every Hempstead Town community. These programs help tens of thousands of taxpayers learn how they could reduce their property tax burden through money-saving exemptions and by challenging their property tax assessments. Don Clavin has been a staunch advocate for the rights of taxpayers and fought tirelessly for them. One thing about Don is somehow he always found a way to make people smile, even after paying their taxes at the tax office. One of his popular stories that we had to tell today was about his beloved mother, Rosanna, who passed last year. But it was a story he told for many years. It was a story about how Rosanna, who received an iPad for Christmas one year, he always said that iPad ended up being a great coaster for her coffee table. That's Don for you, and Don spent his life in the town of Hempstead. He's a native of Valley Stream and currently lives with his wife and 3 children and their dog Brady in Garden City. He is a member of the Kiwanis Club of Garden City, the Irish Americans in Government, the New York State Trial Lawyers Association, and the Nassau County Bar Association. More importantly, he's a dedicated husband, dad, co-worker, avid skier, and lover of coffee. Knowing the way, going the way, and showing the way, that is the philosophy of this longtime public servant and our next town supervisor, Donald X. Clavin, Jr. For the purpose of inducting Donald X. Clavin, Jr. as supervisor of Hempstead Town, please welcome Valley Stream Village Justice and his beloved sister, the Honorable Virginia Clavin Higgins.
Virginia. That is the. Which side do you want me on? Yeah, I'll go with this side.
All ready? Raise your right hand. I, Donald Xavier Clavin.
I, Donald Xavier Clavin, Jr.
Do solemnly swear and affirm.
Do solemnly swear and affirm.
to uphold and follow the Constitution of the United States of America.
To uphold and affirm. You messed me up. To uphold and affirm the Constitution of the United States of America.
Try it again. To uphold and follow the Constitution of the State of New York.
To uphold and follow the Constitution of the State
of the State of New York.
Of the State of New York.
To uphold and follow the laws and bylaws of the town of Hempstead.
To uphold and follow the laws and bylaws of the town of Hempstead.
And to faithfully discharge the duties.
And to faithfully discharge the duties.
Supervisor.
Supervisor.
Of the great town of Hempstead.
Of the great town of Hempstead.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Good job, Don. Well, I don't know. Good job.
So let's be honest. I'm a little nervous. So and I want to thank my sister. As some of you may know, Virginia and I have a very unique relationship, and how I describe my sister. And we had a special program made up, but as a vote, we decided to not hand it out. But I do want to stress, Virginia is my much older sister, Virginia, and I want to thank you for extending those paragraphs to just make me a little extra nervous on this one. So I appreciate it. Thank you to all of you. What a tremendous honor it is for myself and all my colleagues to have you all here today. You're all very, very important people. You're all very, very busy. And it's something special to have all of you here. And I know our Lieutenant Governor, I was really honored she could be here and join us. And she does have a partner. And that's important because I think it's an important message for everybody to know. This isn't party, government. This is government by the people, for the people. And that's something I pledge to every single individual here. Election day is over. The campaigns signs are in people's, garages and storage. The campaign ads are done. It's time to govern. And we have a responsibility, and that responsibility is a heavy responsibility. As I said, this is the largest township in America. 750 plus residents. And there's a lot going on and a lot of opportunity. And we can't do it alone. And that's why I said I'm delighted so many of my colleagues from the county level are here. The county executive has joined us, Laura Kern, and the Nassau District Attorney, as well as the county clerk, Marina Cal. Thank you all for joining us here. I think that's wonderfully to take your time out of your very busy schedules. Because we have to work together. In addition to that, I look at, our friends from the state level. We have, state senators that have joined us and our assembly delegation. Missy, I look at you right now. You have an incredible district down there. You do a wonderful job, and it's great to know that we have friends like you and Ed and our senators that are going to help us with legislation we need and funds we need to do a lot of projects. So thank you very, very much for joining us and being here today. And look, people are tired of the bickering. People are tired of fighting. I grew up in politics. I can't even watch TV anymore. And you know what? When I look at this dais and I see, from an era where we have an individual that was kindly referred to as Senator Pothole because he recognized that that's what it comes down to, local services and the great accomplishments he did, to the other end of that row between, two tremendous supervisors. We have Peter King. He was our voice in Washington, D.C. He was the lead, regardless of party. He always put people first in D.C. And he's seen it transform from, I think, an area that works to an area that it's just who can get on TV, who can give a soundbite, and who can yell more. We are very thankful, Congressman, for your service, your representation. And Long Island, all of us are truly going to miss your voice down in CDC. So thank us. But as he said, we have a responsibility here in the town, and that responsibility is heavy. And that responsibility is to govern. And how do you govern is by working with your colleagues and taking a good look at how government functions here in the town of Hempstead. We are going to start. It is a new, it's 2020. It's a new day. It's an opportunity for us to look at how government's functioning and see what we can change in the town of Hempstead. We have so many great opportunities in this township. President, when I look at you and I think right away, I think of the opportunity over at the Hub. That is something we want to succeed. We want to accomplish. But Don Clavin or a board member does not do it by themselves. You know what they do? They sit down with the longer-serving councilwoman. You know what? They sit down with the representative of that area, and they have meetings to discuss what's important, and you reach out to the community so we can have success there. And in other areas of the town, in the Baldwin area, in Elmont, and it just doesn't end there. This is our opportunity to really take a look at revamping town of Hempstead government. And you know what? You do it with innovation. You do it with, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, a whole lot of integrity, and you do it with your colleagues. That's what it's going to take, and that's why I said I'm delighted to stand up here today. It's an honor. For any of you who've never known, and Janine, I just want you to know, generally when they introduce the receiver of taxes, it's always applause. Never boos. I don't want you to ever think it's going to get boos. And let me tell you, if you ever get to drop a puck in an Islander game, there's nothing getting booed by 13,000 people. It really is. It's a very, but I couldn't have done it alone. And you know what, I hate to take the time, and sound like an award ceremony, but I do want to take some time to recognize some people that, have been in this journey along the way and helping me. And how could I not start with, my best friend? Come on, this is, anybody who runs in politics know, this is a tough business. You're out all the time. People are pulling you in a million directions. I'm blessed. I have 3 small kids. I love spending my time with my kids, and I could not have done this. Before I made this decision, I sat down with my best friend, my wife. She is the biggest supporter I have. She is someone that is there nonstop. And this year you did it for me. And I love you, Nancy, so thank you. And I kind of set a rule very early in this campaign. Anybody who knows me, I like doing stuff with my kids. I'm sorry, and I'd warn anybody out there, if I'm invited to an event and there's something going on for my kids, I hope you understand. I'm going to go to my daughter's lacrosse game. I'm going to go to my daughter's field game. I'm going to coach at Donnie's baseball game, because that's a really important element that I think all of us should be grounded in at the end of the day. And I teased her, and I tease all of them. Again, I grew up with 5 mothers. Rosanna V ran the den, but I have 4 great sisters. My sister Donna, Rich, she wanted to fly up from Florida. It was insane. I didn't have her, but I am joined with my sister all the way from Texas, Mary. She came in and she campaigned on weekends flying in, so thank you. I'm also joined with my sister Deirdre, who traveled all the way from North Merrick, And look, anybody that's ever been in Court and Valley Stream, trust me, you know Virginia. So I really want to stress to you, and you're laughing, DA, because you know what she's like too. So and look, but I do want to say, thank you to Senator D'Amato. He will, as I said, he will always be remembered as the 3rd favorite receiver of taxes in the town of Hempstead. So thank you very, very much. And Terry Kahutka and the entire co-workers that I have here in the town of Hempstead. You're a great group. We get elected on the jobs you do, filling roads, mowing lawns, collecting taxes. As I said, nobody works for anybody in the town. We all work for the same people. We all work for the taxpayers. And that's something that this town board knows. And this town board's going to remember. And me, as my tenure as supervisor, it's really important for you to know that every single day I look at you as the people I work with. You do an amazing job. And the video, that was the first time I saw that video. And that was something I asked them to put together, because I wanted all the residents to know these are the great people behind it all, the men and women who keep this town functioning. So thank you to everybody who works in the town of Hempstead. You do a heck of a great job, and I'm proud to work with you. The Law Council of Clergy, they came out early and they gave me an endorsement, and I was very, very grateful for that. And, Bishop Reverend Watson, Reverend Gates, what can I say? All of you, you came out there, and I think that was an important message for the residents to know that this is an inclusive government. This is a government that's going to have the pulse of every community, just not some of them. So I'm very, very grateful, Bishop Gates, for you for leading that. So thank you so much. And Reverend Watson, you're very humbly sitting down there, and I'm very, very grateful for all the time you've given me and the guidance along the way. So thank you very, very much. To all of our law enforcement unions, you guys are awesome. You guys do a great job. You know what? I feel like you're constantly under attack. It's a scary time out there, but we are very, very grateful. And with the changes in the legislation and what's happened the last 2 weeks, to all the union leaders, God bless you, the men and women that are out there fighting the fight, and you know what? You're really doing a great job, and we are very grateful because you helped make this a great community. So thank you all. Chairman Cairo, I want to thank you for the opportunity for this. It was a long, long year. You got to really tolerate me very, very well, so I appreciate that. But you know what? There were a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of concerns. You're a very grounded person, and you know what? The one thing I will bring back is you constantly told me, just don't get distracted by little things. You focus on the big picture. You work with your colleagues, and you do what's right. So thank you very, very much for all that, the campaign year, and having this opportunity. I know I see Rick Polando is out there, Independence Party. Listen, you know what? I'm very grateful to you. Your support very early, and I know you got a lot of phone calls that were very interesting about that. But we've had a long-standing relationship, and I'm very grateful for that. So thank you very much for the independent support. Danny Donovan Jr., the Donovans and the Clavens go back a very, very long time. Your father was a tremendous leader there. My father had a tremendous amount of respect for the Conservative Party. Again, our minor parties are under attack in New York State. All of our minor parties do a tremendous job, and they give a voice to everybody who lives in our community, and not everybody's the same, and everybody deserves a voice in this community. So thank you very much for your support. Mrs. Murphy, how are you? I'm going to single out Mrs. Murphy for 1 second because as a receiver, I had the ability, I'd love going out doing tax forms. And I've been doing them since 2002, and I just like helping people. It's what I like to do. And Mrs. Murphy she's a constant. She comes to Senator Phillips. She comes to my tax forms all the time. She gets tired. She doesn't get tired of my jokes or anything. And last year, she came to one of my forms, and I remember where I was in Baldwin. You said, "How's your mom?" And I said, "Oh, my mom passed away." And Mrs. Murphy took my hand. She sat me down. She says, "Donald, you're going to win this race. You're going to win this race because you've been in this community, and every community should be in the receiver of taxes. And your mom's looking down at you. And have some faith because you're going to do it because you're a good, honest public official, and people recognize that, and that's why you're going to win it." So when I had a little bit of a down day, you personally always charged me up with that message. So thank you very much for joining me as a very special guest. And my colleagues on the town board, look, when I won the election, the first person I called, no disrespect to Nancy, was Councilwoman Gooseby, and I called her at 2 o'clock in the morning. And why was that? And I called her, and she picked up the phone in the first ring, and she knew I was going to call her. Why? Because the residents should know we work together in government. One person does not accomplish anything. It is by bringing people together, reaching across the aisle, that we are going to see the great results in the hub, the opportunities in Baldwin, the redevelopment of downtowns, with mixed housing, near transit oriented. This is our opportunity, and I'm only going to be doing it with the senior councilwoman, with Anthony D'Esposito, who ran a tremendous campaign for me night and day. He'd call me at 6 o'clock in the morning every single day. Chris Carini, 5 weeks in, he had great numbers. Tommy Muscarella, who loves to call me on Sundays and give me some inspirational messages all the time. You know what? Bruce Blakeman, the ultimate statesman. You know what? Bruce looks at things in a real interesting perspective and loves to, kind of give you a little insight because he's been there a very, very long time and he's done a great job. And he didn't run this year, but he was out there nonstop campaigning for me and helping me, and that's Dennis Dunn. Thank you to my colleagues for working with me and giving me the opportunity and working together and pledging to work for all the residents during this tenure to have real results for all of you. So thank you to my colleagues and the town board members. Janine Driscoll, you got the greatest job in the world. We got to tell you right now, greatest job in the world. It's a 4-year term, first off, so congratulations on your 4-year term. But it's Janine, you're going to love it. Great people over there. You're going to be a wonderful public servant. You got a great family, and you are a tremendous asset to have on this team and give to the community. So I'm delighted you're here with all of us. And what can I say, lastly, about my last colleague in the town board? My sisters know her. She's like the 5th Clavin sister. She's someone that I can always talk to. She's been an assemblywoman, the town clerk, the supervisor. She's back at the town clerk. And just yesterday, we were just having conversations about, the town and how some things should function. I'm really very fortunate to have made a real solid friend in my life, and that's in you, Kate Murray. So thank you very much. And I know he's hiding back there. He's a former mayor of Valley Stream. And he's the guy, when I came out of Canisius College in 2001, that got me involved and started this whole thing. So, John, I just want to curse you a lot, and I want to thank you very much. I want to say to you, thank you very much, my beloved friend, John DeGray. So thank you. But you know what? We work for the residents. When you hear minor parties out there saying, oh, you have to, there's a minor party, the Working Families Party last week, told candidates, we don't want you to pledge to work for taxpayers. And I read the article, and I kind of said to myself, Senator, that's insane. How could you campaign and say you're not going to work for taxpayers? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be out there helping people. Gary, we're supposed to be driving around the trucks, making sure, people have recycling bins. We're supposed to be out there talking to our, the people who work within the town. And that's our pledge. We're going to make the town a good place. And it's not just for the residents. It's for the men and women who work here. We're going to look at every department, up and down, from management to staffing to what they have in there, because this is our opportunity. This is a great workforce. Let's make sure they have the tools that are necessary to provide the great services, because at the end of the day, we know our residents love the town of Hempstead. We want them to be welcome when they come here, every single resident, and we are going to pledge that. And it's going to start, like I said, from the top on down, and you know what? That's my pledge to residents. We're going to have innovation, we're going to have growth, we're going to have integrity, and during my tenure as supervisor of the town of Hempstead, we're going to have unity of working and putting the residents, the taxpayers, and all of you first. So I've talked too long. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. God bless all of you. God bless your families. And let's all make 2020 a wonderful, successful year. Thank you.
Before we continue with the program, we have a few more dignitaries to recognize. Please join me in a round of applause for former Hempstead Town Clerk Nazreen Ahmad, former Town of Oyster Bay Councilman Joseph Muscarella, Village of Malvern Trustee Tim Sullivan, Garden City Mayor Teresa Trove, and finally, Valley Stream Trustee John Tuffarelli. The Town of Hempstead now invites Bishop William Watson, President of the Long Island Conference of Clergy, to lead us in a mid-ceremony prayer.
I'll make a few remarks first. Certainly, we honor today our town supervisor, Mr. Don X. Claiborne, his entire wife and family, to the county executive who joins us today, Ms. Laura Curran, and to our Hempstead mayor, Mr. Don Ryan. I must say that because I'm a 55-year resident of the village of Hempstead, and I need to stay here. And certainly to our deputy mayor, Mr. Charles Winfrow, to Chairman Cairo, we honor you on today, to all of our elected officials, to everyone who's present, clergy. I am blessed to be here. I am the second president of the Conference of Clergy in our 24-year history. We work with every town supervisor from our inception, and we come today to pledge our support to this leader. We trust his vision, we trust his insight, and we trust going forward under his leadership. We did not come today to give a lot of advice because the vision comes from the leader. But we do come to pledge our support. But the truth is that historically, every king that listened to the prophet succeeded. And that is what we come today to pledge for this season. Just wanted to say before I give my brief prayer is that I wasn't given a choice to support this leader. I was told by Kilbride. And I don't know how many of you know this, but within an hour, in the very same day, I got another call from Bobby Kumar. And so we are supporting Don Claiborne. I said, we are? They said, yes. And so here we are. I wanted to be very clear. I am a 26-year volunteer for Torch for Tots, and I don't get to make decisions. But so I just joined the team. But truth being told, we saw something in this leader that we know is going to help us correct some of the wrongs in our town and our villages. And we're here today as a conference to say thank you to this great leader for the opportunity that we have. Just before I pray, there was a story that I heard some years ago, and I want to share it because Mr. Cairo shared a story, and every time he shares a story, I want to share one. There was a man who was celebrating 50 years of marital bliss. All of a sudden, he started crying. His wife went over to comfort him. She said, are you sick? He said, no. She said, well, why are you crying? He just kept on crying. Finally, she got him calmed down enough to talk. He said, well, what happened? He said, 50 years ago, your father came to my house with a shotgun and said, if I didn't marry you, I would do 50 years in jail. He said, I was just thinking, if I had taken the other offer, tomorrow I would have been free. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for this privilege to pray. We thank you for this leader that you have chosen for this time. We thank you for his entire family. We thank you for his cabinet. We thank you for the town of Hempstead and all of its constituents as we go forward together. Lord, our prayer today is make us one. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop Watson. Our next inductee is no stranger here at Town Hall. Kate Murray started as an elected official here in Hempstead Town in the same position she is being inducted into today. She served as town clerk from 2002 to 2003 before becoming the first woman to serve as Hempstead Town supervisor, a role she held until 2016. Prior to her tenure here in Hempstead, Kate, a Levittown native, was the first woman to represent the 19th New York State Assembly District. Elective office followed a distinguished career in law. As an Assistant Attorney General, Kate was the Deputy Section Chief of the Criminal Justice Section for the New York State Attorney General's Office. She also served as an advocate for Suffolk University's Battered Women's Advocacy Project, where she offered legal representation to victims of domestic violence. Following her time here, Kate also served as Vice President of Institutional Advancement for Nassau Community College and as Deputy County Clerk for Nassau County. As Hempstead Town Clerk, Kate introduced some of the office's most popular programs, including the town's one-stop passport shop, issuing commuter parking permits at the stations themselves, and the accessibility of certain permits and licenses through the town's website. Kate's legacy here is undeniable, having instituted and completed construction of a $6 million multi-purpose center for members of the town's anchor program. The beachside building and the associated summer camp provides aquatic, athletic, computer, theater, nutrition, and social programs. Her ecological agenda, which was heralded by the EPA, included the creation of a green energy park featuring solar, geothermal, hydrogen, and wind power, as well as a one-of-a-kind solar-powered government office which draws no energy from the power grid and emits zero pollutants. Inducting Town Clerk Murray today will be former Town Councilman and Nassau County Republican Committee Chairman Joseph Cairo.
All right, Kevin, I think you're going to, always directing. I said that right into the microphone too, didn't I?
I, Kate Murray,
I, Kate Murray,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the laws and codes of the town of Hempstead,
the laws and codes of the town of Hempstead,
to faithfully discharge the duties
and to faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of town clerk
of the office of town clerk
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Well, good morning. It does feel like deja vu all over again, and I'm delighted to be here. Reverend clergy, my fellow elected officials, when Chairman Cairo spoke to me about joining the town of Hempstead Republican slate of candidates with Don and his great candidates, I didn't hesitate for a second. After all, public service is in my blood, and I have so much more that I want to accomplish for the people who call the town of Hempstead home. As some of you know, the chairman and I are both sports enthusiasts and fierce competitors, so the chance to compete in the political arena for the opportunity to serve the residents of America's largest township was very appealing indeed. What's more, we both have a strong faith and a desire to help people, and so after discussing my decision to run for Hempstead Town Clerk with Chairman Cairo, I got up to leave his office. But I couldn't help but notice that there was a framed image of the most beloved football coach in history, Green Bay Packers coach Vince Lombardi, hanging on the wall of his office. I read the long quote under the portrait. It captured my competitive nature and my desire to work for the good of our big, diverse town of Hempstead family. In part, the quote, and I'm taking a little literary license here, it intoned, "I believe in God and I believe in human decency. But I firmly believe that any woman's finest hour, her greatest fulfillment of all that she holds dear, is that moment when she has to work her heart out in a good cause and she's exhausted on the field of battle, victorious." Don't get me wrong, I'm not all about competition just for the sake of competition. Indeed, the famous Lombardi quote speaks of God, human decency, and the good cause. These are all imperatives that are at the core of who I am, what I hold true, and the priorities which I embrace as a public official. Again, victory for its own sake is not and would be hollow if it were not directed toward the greater good. Moreover, I celebrate the victory of the Clavin team as a victory for Hempstead Town's taxpayers. Don has committed to slashing the supervisor's patronage staff in half on day one as supervisor, and he's doing it as we speak. What's more, Don helped craft 2 tax cut budgets in 2019 and 2020 because he knows that our homeowners need tax relief. Combined with his fiscal management strengths, Don Clavin is dedicated to improving our town as he is undertaking a major roadway repaving initiative along with many other great projects. As town clerk, my priorities are in harmony, of course, with those of our great new supervisor. I'm dedicated to delivering excellent services at the lowest possible cost, and I have some significant plans for modernizing the clerk's office and improving operations. I will be unveiling those priorities over the next several months. But I do want to, and it would be remiss if I did not thank several people who have made it possible for me to return to the town of Hempstead. Of course, first and foremost, Nassau County Republican Committee Chairman Joe Cairo, a taskmaster who's always hardest on himself. Thank you, Chairman. And of course, my great friend and colleague these 19 years or so, and a great friend, Don Clavin, who is going to be a great, great supervisor. And all my running mates, I got to know Janine on the trail. I knew everybody else from my years in public service. And I have to tell you, I am so honored to be a part of this team. It is a great team. And to Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby, who I served with her for about 18 years, 17 years, something like that, Dorothy. I have to tell you, I have never enjoyed working with a colleague more than Dorothy Gooseby. So Senior Councilwoman, thank you so much. And as this is a day to leave politics behind, I do want to thank former town clerk Sylvia Cabana. She was absolutely professional in her campaign and very gracious in her transition. So I thank Sylvia. Of course, the gentleman here to my left, your right, Congressman Pete King, thank you so much for all of your years of service to us. We will miss you for sure. And Senator Alphonse D'Amato, they have been great friends and mentors to me for many, many years. And our Nassau County PBA President, Jim McDermott, our Detectives Association President, John Wighouse, and of course our superior officers, President Kevin Black. They were absolutely tremendous on the campaign trail. Thank you for what you do each day to keep us safe, and thank you for what you did on the campaign trail. We really appreciate it. And our Conservative Party Chairman, Danny Donovan, along with the Independence Party Chair, Rick Belando, you too and your parties have supported me more times than I can remember. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And of course, our reverend clergy who have graced us with their wise wisdom today. Rabbi Mordecai Kamenetsky of the Yeshiva of South Shore, Pastor Michael Duffy of Our Lady of Lourdes in Melbourne, and a Levittown Memorial High School grad, go Levittown, and Bishop William Watson, President of the Long Island Conference of Clergy. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your guidance. I'm almost done. Just want to thank my family for their great love and support, as well as the hundreds of volunteers who stood at our train stations at 6 a.m. each and every day during the campaign and distributed our literature door to door every single week. Thank you so much to all those great volunteers. And right here in our hallowed halls here, the Town of Hempstead CSEA, President Terry Kahutka, her executive board, and every single man and woman who make up the Town of Hempstead workforce. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to Nick Lamort, our regional director, who is here as well. And I would like to give a shout out to Charlie Solito, who was the president while I was supervisor for 13 years. Great, great history of working well with the CSEA, and Don Clavin will continue to do just that on behalf of the men and women of the town. And most importantly, I'd like to thank the voters who participated in the 2019 election and placed their confidence not only in Don Clavin, but the entire board. Thank you so much to the voters. In conclusion, since I started my remarks by quoting Vince Lombardi, I probably no better or more inspiring way to end my remarks today. Coach Lombardi stated, "The achievements of an organization are the results of the combined efforts of each individual. Well, the Clavin team certainly works together for the benefit of our residents, and we will continue to do so. Every day we have the privilege of serving the residents of the town of Hempstead. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support, and to all of the men and women of the town of Hempstead, I very much am honored and look forward to working with you again. It's great to be home. Thank you.
Due to time constraints, we actually have a change in the program. Let's give a warm welcome to the wonderfully talented celebrities in our township, the Uniondale High School Choir. Thank you again to the Uniondale High School Choir. We have one more dignitary this afternoon, now afternoon. Please introduce Senator Phil Boyle. Our next inductee is a longtime resident of Belrose Village. Janine C. Driscoll has always believed that the receiver of taxes position should be more than just an administrator who collects taxes and disperses the money to local jurisdictions. Continuing the tradition of now Supervisor Don Clavin, Janine is hitting the ground running as she assumes the role of receiver by hosting a series of taxpayer forums dedicated to helping residents challenge their assessments. Wise to the taxes on Long Island, Janine understands the importance of putting taxpayers first and helping residents save money. A mother of 5 and an accomplished aviation attorney, her position as receiver of taxes is not her first foray into public service. Indeed, Janine served as village justice in Belrose Village and has been a friendly, familiar face in her community. As an active member of her local church, Our Lady of Victory in Floral Park, she is always on the lookout for volunteer opportunities to help the economically disadvantaged. Not only is she known throughout her community for her participation in her church, Janine is also heavily involved in her local school district, serving as president of the Parent-Teacher Association. Janine has already set goals for the Office of the Receiver of Taxes, excitedly showcasing the office's auto-pay feature, the first on Long Island. She intends to continue to embrace technology and lead the tax office even further into the 21st century. Utilizing her years of professional experience, Janine is looking forward to enhancing and perfecting the services provided by her office. Ready to buckle down and get to work, Janine has already booked libraries for her upcoming taxpayer seminars. Be on the lookout as she'll be coming to a library near you. Inducting Janine Driscoll today will be former town councilman and Nassau County Republican Committee Chairman Joseph Cairo.
You'll notice, if I could take a moment, that Janine's daughter is going to hold the Bible. And the reason is because, and I asked Senator D'Amato and Richie and Greg and Peter to watch my back, because the reason her sons aren't coming up is because in September 29th, on a beautiful sunny afternoon, 2018, I'm officiating Bethpage Floral Park football game, and I get knocked down viciously by 3 Floral Park kids. Break my shoulder, injure my hip. One of the kids was named Patrick Driscoll, number 20. I was 53. So I asked him to please stay in the back. Don't let him get too close to me. One shoulder is enough. Please raise your hand, left hand goes on the Bible. We're new at this. I, Janine Driscoll.
I, Janine Driscoll.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
And the laws and codes of the town of Hempstead.
And the laws and codes of the town of Hempstead.
And to faithfully discharge the duties.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Office of Receiver of Taxes.
The office of the Receiver of Taxes.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Right here, Janine.
Well, I hope everybody received their tax bill yesterday. They went out pretty early this time. I got home last night. Give all the credit to John. I stayed away from the office last week. My name was on the bill, but it was all Don. I did get home from work last night, and when I got home, I was flooded on my cell phone with so many texts and pictures of people's bills. My friends and family were so excited to get their tax bill, and I said, they were like, oh, it's great, your name. I said, great, just pay up. You're getting another bill in 3 months. The last 20 years have really flown by very quickly. And when I reflect on that, I recall how I anxiously awaited the year 2000. January 1st, 2000, we all kind of waited with bated breath, and we didn't know what was going to happen. Was the world going to shut down? Were we going to lose our medical records? Were we going to lose all the data we had saved on our floppy disks? And when that time came and passed and we made it through the millennium, I think everybody breathed a sigh of relief. Now, here we are in the year 2020, and it is quite unbelievable. I know, like you, I worked really hard during the last 20 years kind of to build up my family, make it prosperous, make it happy, make it faithful. I also tried to do as much as I could for the community, like most of the people sitting here today. For me personally, there were a lot of significant milestones. I am the mother of a Y2K baby. He was born in the year 2000. I also purchased my first home. And really probably the biggest thing that happened to me in the last 20 years is that I transitioned from the quintessential Queens girl to an official Nassau County resident. It's hard to believe, but that the dawn of the new decade is here again, and it's the third decade of the millennium. Recently, my daughter Elizabeth embarked on a leadership project for the Floral Park Lions Club, and it's simply called 2020 Vision. The project entails collecting 2,020 pairs of used eyeglasses to be redistributed to people who can't afford glasses. And I'll tell you, the project has been a teachable moment for me and an inspiration, because really, as I embark on this new role as Hempstead Town's receiver of taxes, I am totally focused on service to others, just like Elizabeth. And that really is what the core is. And for me, it's all about service. And I have not been, except for my judgeship, a public servant. I've been in the private sector. So I'm inspired by this, and I look forward to serving you as your tax receiver with my own clear 2020 vision. I don't really have 2020. I wish I had 2020 vision, but I don't. Before I go into a little bit detail about that, I just want to acknowledge some special people here today. First of all, the chairman, Joseph Cairo, has been wonderful to me. He really has shown his vision for what he wanted to do this year, and he's accomplished that. I also want to thank Senator Alphonse D'Amato, who has been extremely supportive of my campaign and has given me so much good advice along the way. Also, it's been an honor to get to know Congressman Peter King. He's such a gentleman, and he also is always willing to talk and, lend me some helpful advice. CSEA Local 880 President Terry Kahuka, I think you're over there, become a friend, and I really appreciate all your support. It's always great when I see you. And obviously, I appreciate the endorsement and the support of the town, workforce. Long Island Council of Clergy, especially Bishop William Watson and Bishop David Gates, Rabbi Mordecai Kamenetsky, Father Michael Duffy, thank you. I appreciate all the support you've all given me along the way as well. John Wighouse and the Nassau County Detectives Association, I have to point out that these guys, they campaigned with me in the morning, early morning, 5 a.m. at various Long Island Railroad stations, and I'm forever grateful for that. And I feel like, we've all become good friends now, and I appreciate that. Also, Kevin Black and the Nassau County Superior Officers Association, the Nassau County Police Department, the Nassau County Conservative Party Chairman Dan Donovan, Independence Party Chairman Rick Belando, Community Leader Bobby Kumar, Brian Sullivan, and the Nassau County Corrections Officers Benevolent Association. I appreciate all of your support and what you've done for me as well. My campaign coordinators, Phil Guarnieri and Arthur Walsh, I am also grateful for all of the support and all the volunteering you did for me. These guys really did a lot. They were on the phone with me every day, giving me sound advice, picking me up, driving me to various locations, and I do appreciate that. Obviously, my new town board family and friends, Supervisor Don Clavin, Town Clerk Kate Murray, Councilman Bruce Blakeman, Tom Muscarella, and Chris Carini, town board members who were not running this year but were out in the field with us every day, Anthony D'Esposito and Dennis Dunn. And it's been an absolute pleasure over the last month to get to know Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby, and I really look forward to collaborating with you and working with you in the future. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't give my huge family a huge shout out. I guess I'll start with my parents, Carol and Jack Baracachia, who I know are very proud. They're here today. They helped a lot. They crossed the border from Queens to Nassau about 2 years ago, and they live directly across the street from me, so it's heaven. I have my sister, Jennifer Meehan, is here. My other sister, Jacqueline Payu, who actually had a baby 2 weeks ago, and she and the baby are here today. It's her fourth child. My brother, John Veracachia, is also here, and my 5 children, Danny, Patrick, Aiden, James, and Elizabeth, who I think are finally starting to understand that this is important, and, you know, it's not just mom running out the door every night. Of course, I owe the most gratitude to my husband, Dan, who knows better than anyone why I suddenly changed course in my legal career and became involved in this campaign. Thank you, Dan. He's been unbelievably supportive and understanding, and I love him very much. There is a quote that states, "Without vision, you have no direction, and without direction, you have no purpose." Both Elizabeth and I have a clear vision in our respective tasks. In fact, our vision is a mutual one. We both want to help others. In delivering our vision, we both have charted a roadmap to achieve the success in helping people. I personally believe that we were put on this earth to serve a purpose, and to help others improve the human condition. Sometimes I forget, and I come home and I have a wonderful family and many blessings, and I look out and I can't believe what other people are undergoing and what they're experiencing, and I feel like we have such a human obligation to do something and to really reach out and try our best to help these people. And I will, in addition to serving as a tax receiver, try to use as many opportunities to get out in the public and really reach out to people. One of the experiences that really struck me during the campaign was visiting some of the senior centers, and there are a lot of lonely people, and I think we have to make a concerted effort to really focus on these people. I know Councilman Muscarella and I spent Halloween at one of the senior centers, and we had a great afternoon together. But I said there are so many people out there that just want someone to talk to, and I think as public servants that we really need to focus on certain groups. I mean, there are so many groups that need help, but I think, you know, we take it one day at a time. I'm going to be helping Elizabeth with her 2020 Vision Project, and I ask you to work with me to execute the clear vision for all of the Hempstead town. My vision is obviously a transparent government, moral, ethical, fiscally responsible, and not only fiscally responsible, but responsive to the needs of the taxpayers. I will promise to work hard. I'm going to execute my duties. I'm going to focus on my duties. I'm a goal-oriented person. Every day I will set a goal for me and you. And at the end of the day, that goal is going to be accomplished. I think we can deliver on the vision of a better future for the residents of America's largest township. I pledge to you that I am committed to serving with direction and purpose. I am thankful for the opportunity that the voters have given me, and I will faithfully share with my daughter a mission to help other people. God bless the town of Hempstead, and God bless America. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Councilman Bruce A. Blakeman, representing the 3rd Councilmanic District, including his hometown of Atlantic Beach and his childhood community of Valley Stream. Previous to his re-election this past November, Councilman Blakeman won election as town councilman in 2015 after being appointed to the town board earlier that year, signifying a homecoming for the councilman as he marked his return to a position in which he served from 1993 through 1995. After serving as the first presiding officer of the Nassau County Legislature from 1996 through 1999, Councilman Blakeman served as Commissioner for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey from 2001 to 2009, overseeing major airports, bridges, tunnels, ports, and facilities across the metropolitan area. He is also a practicing attorney specializing in real estate, commercial litigation, personal injury, land use, transportation, finance, and insurance. Councilman Blakeman's vision led the Hempstead Town Board to adopt a smart growth-based zoning code to enable transformative development in the Inwood and North Lawrence communities. Spearheaded by Councilman Blakeman, The Transit-Oriented Development Code will provide for mixed-use development, creating walkable and vibrant hamlet centers around the Inwood and Lawrence train stations that will enhance these neighborhoods while maintaining their cultural diversity. This initiative will serve as a unique model for other communities in the future. In addition, Councilman Blakeman was instrumental in obtaining landmark status for the historical Franklin Square movie theater building located on Hempstead Turnpike in Franklin Square, and was at the forefront with his fellow council members in presenting 2 consecutive tax cut budgets to provide Hempstead residents with real tax relief while demonstrating a commitment to fiscal accountability. Inducting Hempstead Town's councilman for the 3rd Councilmanic District is his beloved wife, the Honorable Sagal Blakeman, Cedarhurst Associate Village Justice.
We're always prepared. You gotta hold this.
Just repeat after me. I, Bruce Blakeman.
I, Bruce Blakeman.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The Constitution of the State of New York.
The laws and codes of the town of Hempstead.
The laws and codes of the town of Hempstead.
And to faithfully discharge my duties.
And to faithfully discharge my duties.
As councilman of town of Hempstead.
As councilman of the town of Hempstead.
To the best of my abilities.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Dorothy Gooseby is timing me. Lots of pressure. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Before we start, I just want to say that, I have a reputation for covering my bases and making sure that, I'm well prepared. So I'm very happy to tell you and report to you that I pray with Rabbi Kamenetsky, I break bread with Bishop Watson, and I drink with Father Duffy. So I got all the bases covered. Thank you all for being here. I want to thank my wife, the beautiful and talented Sagal, for giving me the strength, the friendship, and the love to be able to do what I do. Thank you very much, Sagal. I appreciate you swearing me in rather than what you usually do is swear at me. And of course, I want to thank my son, Arlen, who just graduated from Cardozo Law School. I'm very proud of him. He's a great guy. He's a very courageous guy. And he's the most important person in my life. Thank you, Arlen, for being with me today. I want to mention 2 people aren't here. Ariel, unfortunately, wanted to come, but she got the flu. Everybody in my family's gotten the flu so far, except for me, but I just kissed Sagal, who's getting over the flu, so I'll probably have it tomorrow. But Ariel was running a temperature, so I told her, listen, I know your heart will be here, but, we're going to miss her not being here today. And, of course, Avi is serving in the United States Marine Corps at some undisclosed location. I asked him the other day where he was. He said, I would tell you, but then I would have to kill you. So that will go unknown. There are people that you meet throughout life that help you, that mentor you, that, quite frankly, are your friends. In our Nassau County Republican chairman, I have a good friend. I have a leader that I can count on. I want to thank our chairman, Joe Cairo, and the Nassau County Republican Committee for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, Chairman. I also want to thank Chairman Danny Donovan from the Conservative Party. We've always had a close relationship with the Conservative Party. Thank you, Danny, and thank your committee. And Rick Belando, the chairman of the Independence Party, thank you once again for supporting my candidacy. And Bobby Kumar from the Reform Party, thank you so much. Major Kilbright, I'm going to mention your name also because you are very good with guns and I don't want to get shot. So thank you, Major Kilbright, for all your support. It's funny, when they were reading my biography, I don't know if you heard it, there was the sound of bagpipes in the background. So I wasn't sure that this was an induction or my funeral. So thank you for that kind introduction. It was way too long, but I appreciate it. Let me say a couple of words about my running mates. I've known Don Clavin for most of my life. He grew up in Valley Stream. I grew up in Valley Stream. Don is a really, really good guy. He really wants to do the right thing. He's got a good moral compass. He has integrity. He has strength. He has wisdom. But I think the most endearing thing to me about him is that he doesn't take himself too seriously. He can make fun of himself. He can be a little irreverent at times. But I believe that he is just the right person right now to lead our town. Thank you, Don, for stepping up to the plate and running. Kate Murray. You know, Kate, you know what they called me when I came back to the town? My nickname was the sequel. Well, now you're the sequel. The reason why Kate and I came back is because this is a really great job and a great town to work for. Joe Cairo told me it was the greatest job in politics, and you're right. So Kate and I are the sequel. Thank you, Kate, for coming back and coming up to the plate once again. Janine, you are a breath of fresh air. It's always good to get people outside of government to step up to the plate and run and be a part of government, because they bring a new perspective. And Janine, we're really going to have a good time together, working together, because you are that fresh face. And thank you so much for your run and for your victory. Tommy Muscarella. I served with his brother Vinny in the original legislature. Rich Nicolello would remember that, right, Rich? Our great presiding officer. It's good for you to be here today. Thank you so much. So anyway, I served with Vinny, and Vinny and Tommy, they both come from good stock. They've got their feet on the ground. They're very smart. But Vinny's a little more straightforward in his analysis of things, and Tommy has a circuitous route to where he wants to go. But the one thing about Tommy is he always comes to the right conclusion. So Tommy, thank you so much. It's going to be fun working with you. And while I'm going to miss my good friend Erin King Sweeney very much, Chris Carini has brought a lot to the town board. We worked together for a brief period of time at the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. As you know, he was a police officer in that fine police department, a very challenging police department. And I think Chris, as not only a police officer, but as a community leader, is going to bring a lot to the table. So thank you, Chris, also for stepping up to the plate. The Lieutenant Governor made news today. It was great of the Lieutenant Governor to recommend that we secede from the state of New York and form our own state. Governor Clavin has promised that his first two appointments will be United States Senator again, Al D'Amato, and our new United States Senator, Pete King. Pete? So that was great. I wonder what Governor Cuomo is saying right now. Actually, since we turned Republican, they might like that. So, Senator Phil Boyle, a good friend, thank you for coming across the border to be with us today. So, I also get to work with some people that didn't run with us, but they were very supportive of all of us. And someone that I had the opportunity to work with that is really an American hero. She's one of the most important civil rights leaders in the United States. I value her wisdom. I value her judgment. I value her friendship. She told me to keep it short, so I'll move on real quick. But Dorothy Gooseby, thank you for your service for all these years. You are definitely a town treasure. Thank you so much. Double D, Dennis Dunn, who I served on the original legislature with, a United States Marine, a community activist, a really great guy. Dennis, thank you so much for your friendship and leadership. And Anthony D'Esposito, who served a very remarkable career in the NYPD as a detective, and someone who has really been a tireless worker for the people in his district and really went out of his way for Don and me and the rest of the ticket. Thank you, Anthony D'Esposito. So what we want to do together as a team is we just want to do a couple of simple things. We want to deliver cost-efficient government, keep the public safe, make sure that our economy is strong, so our tax base is strong, so people can have jobs and quality of life. And that's the team I have, and I'm very, very proud to serve with them on those issues and those things that we need to get done. So as I started off 4 years ago, I have some special guests. My family is pretty much either in Washington, D.C. or Arizona and couldn't be here. So as my special guest, I like to single out town employees for their exemplary job. And the first one I want to recognize, please stand, is Chris Kelly. Chris is a public safety officer. Just a few short weeks ago, Chris was securing our facility at the Greenfield Cemetery. He was locking it up when he heard a large crash and found out that 2 vehicles were involved in an accident and that there were 2 adults and 6 children involved. He immediately went to triage the injured people, and he calmed the children down, and he secured the accident site so nobody else would be injured. Chris, you exemplify our great town workers. Thank you so much for being with us today. The next special guest of mine that I would like to introduce is Scotty Goldman. Scotty's from North Valley Stream. Scotty is a graduate of Camp Anchor, and he is somebody that has really given me inspiration every day when I come to work. Scotty, thank you for being such a great employee for the town. The next individual is Damian Gallo. Damian, please stand. He is also a graduate of Camp Anchor, and he's also an outstanding employee. There's only one thing wrong with him. He's a Ranger fan. There's always one in the bunch. Thank you very much for your service to the town. And before I make my last introduction, I have to tell a story too. Chairman Cairo did, Bishop Watson did. This is about my son Arlen. I get a call from a friend of mine on a Sunday. He says, listen, I've got great tickets to the Ranger game at Madison Square Garden. They're at Center Ice. Would you like to go? And I said, absolutely. So I took my son. I put him in an Islander jersey. We walked in about 10 minutes before the dropping of the cup and the puck rather, and basically 17,000 people stood up, pointed at my son with the Islander jersey and said, "A-hole, a-hole, a-hole." So my son to this day says, "Dad, I should have reported you to Child Protective Services for doing that to me." But thank you, even though you are a Ranger fan. And I also want to recognize a guy that, you know, some people come to work and they have joy. You can just tell it. They enjoy being at work. This is that guy. I've never seen him without a smile on his face. He always greets everybody. He's just a great guy. Dave Tillery, would you please stand up, Dave? Thank you. Teresa, this is your most important member. He's the one that provides food to the town board, so that's why we're being nice to him today. Thank you so much. And last special guests are the Pennicky family. 4 years ago, I recognized that Kenny Pennicky, a town employee who had gone through multiple medical procedures and surgeries, who really had a tremendous amount of hardships, was a guy who came into work every day. And he was a real inspiration, Kenny. And, you know, I'm just happy that his family is here. Some of you may know that just a few weeks after that, Kenny passed away. But there's not a day that goes by when I'm having a bad day that I don't think of his strength and his courage. I'd like to welcome the Pennicky family, his mother, Patricia, George, and Andrew, his brother, Andrew. Thank you. So, again, I want to thank the voters in my district. Those who voted for me, thank you so much. Those who didn't, I will work just as hard for you. Thank you all for being here. God bless you all, and most importantly, God bless America.
Our next inductee is the Town of Hempstead's Rookie of the Year. Despite stepping to the plate for the first time in elective office, this council member is hitting a grand slam for the residents of America's largest township. Tom Muscarella joined Hempstead Town Board in April of 2019, but he has been a household name for decades in the communities of Belrose Terrace, Floral Park, Garden City, New Hyde Park, Stewart Manor, his native Elma, and other local neighborhoods. Tom has served as the president of the Franklin Square Lions Club since 2001, been involved in the Sons of Italy American Lodge since 1978, and is a proud member of the St. Anne's Church. He also volunteered his services as a manager for the Elma and Garden City Little Leagues. Soon after joining the Hempstead Town Council, he partnered with now Supervisor Don Clavin and New York State Assemblyman Ed Rott to urge state funding for the treatment of the water contaminant 1,4-dioxane in the event of increased regulations on local water companies. Councilman Muscarella also worked along with Councilman Blakeman in the town's landmarking of the Franklin Square Movie Theater. Built in the 1930s, the building is potentially the only remaining movie theater of its kind in the town of Hempstead. He also held several mobile town hall events throughout the 2nd Councilmanic District, meeting one-on-one with residents to listen to their concerns and to help educate them on the many town programs and services available to them. When he's not tending to town-related business, Tom works in the insurance industry as a sales executive for Assured Partners Northeast LLC. He currently resides in Garden City with his wife and 2 children. Today, we are proud to start a new season with Hempstead Town's Rookie of the Year, Tom Muscarella, and we are confident that the hits will keep on coming. Inducting Tom Muscarella will be former town councilman and Nassau County Republican Chairman, the Honorable Joseph G. Cairo, Jr.
Tommy has just advised me to step aside, and he wants to say something first.
Well, first, does the contract come with Rookie of the Year? This morning I did something, and my wife scolded me. She says, "Why are you touching the Bible without the gloves on?" And I looked. So because I looked, I need to call up the fellow Muscarellas to help me get through this. I need my brother Mike, my brother Joe, my brother Vincent, my sister Bea. My brother Paul is no longer here. There were 7 of us. My wife, please come up too. She was the original one. And I say that only because I looked. I touched the Ark of the Covenant without getting permission. I didn't have the gloves on. And it said 1970. This is the Bible my father got sworn in on. So I need my fellow musketeers, my fellow Muscarellas, to hold the Bible with my wife. I'm not touching it.
So 45 years ago, this month, I succeeded his dad. I joined Al D'Amato and Greg Peterson. No one could do the job that Joe Muscarella did. Since those days, we've had great councilmen. We've had Joe Rott, Joe Carney, Eddie Ambrosino, and now Tommy Muscarella, he's going to be the best of the group. And I think it's only appropriate, if I may, since you told me to step aside, that your oldest brother, Vinny, actually swear you in. Vin?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thomas, please repeat after me. I, Thomas Muscarella,
I, Thomas Muscarella,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Code of the Town of Hempstead,
and the Code of the Town of Hempstead,
and I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of Councilman of the Town of Hempstead
of the office of Councilman of the Town of Hempstead
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Tom Muscarella.
No, I think. I hold here the conclusion. The Golden Globe Awards always came with an envelope that signifies the end. So when you see me pick this up, get very excited, because this will close it out. And I think all of us, it might still be going on from what I saw, because it was pretty long. I would like to acknowledge a few people. One being Joe Cairo, who's a leader, a friend, a mentor, who told a story just the other day, a storyteller, about how he got to sit with my father, who had all his pencils sharpened, and he got my mother to make him macaroni. So I'm pretty sure in the Italian culture, when macaroni is served and you eat at the Muscarella table, you become a family member. Thank you, Joe Cairo. To my wife, Rose, who always keeps me grounded, she keeps me humble. On the day of my decision to run, she said, we have to do this. A lot of lonely nights. She went out and she replaced me with a dog. And she named him Junior. So I don't know if that means Tommy Jr., but we'll address that. The oldest of the seven is Vincent Muscarella, the longer two-time serving elected official in Nassau County, second only behind Peter King. My brother Nate, a judge who wasn't able to be here. I'd like to acknowledge my sister, the only sister of 7 boys. She's both a mentor, a mother, and a sister. My brother Paul, who is not here today, he was the pick of the litter. He was the mix of George Clooney and Elvis combined. And God has him in his hand right now. My brother Mike, who is the youngest, he stood up. He's got a broken leg. I don't know what that means, but we'll figure that one out. When it comes to Muscarella, it's very easy to get confused. I think God wanted it that way, because he gave me senior councilman Joseph Muscarella, who just steps down on the Town of Oyster Town Board. 6 months ago, I found out that he's my identical twin brother, and I'd just like to acknowledge him. This one comes with a warning, because for 24 years I impersonated an elected official in the town of Oyster Bay. And every time somebody said, my brother said, what did you say to him? I said, well, he's getting a a pay increase, and he's changing tiers for whatever that means. So if you find yourself talking to me and you think it's going over the top, I would rest assured it's my brother Joe. I'd like to speak about the town board, acknowledge them. So now we have Don Clavin, the receiver of taxes with the checkbook. We also have Kate Murray, who was often referred to as a retired supervisor. On Friday, that's not so, because when I was going to the 4th floor, I took a right turn, and I got some very great wisdom from Kate Murray, who I love very much. Thank you, Kate. Janine Driscoll, aviation lawyer. It used to be said when you're in outer space or your head is in the clouds, there's something wrong with you. Today, if you're not in the cloud, there's something wrong with you. So the other thing is, when I came to the town board, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Erin King Sweeney. She stood in her father's footsteps. She served as councilman. She was an aviation lawyer, and I met her. There's something going on with aviation lawyers. Before I knew none, now I know two. Then we have Bruce Blakeman, Majority Whip of Nassau County. Anytime a guy gets a whip, you should be afraid of him. Then you have Dennis Dunn, another county person, a legislator, a football player, a U.S. Marine, a wrestler. So the TV pops on, and it's Jesse Ventura, the governor, past governor of Minnesota. Not a fan. But I would be very happy to see Jesse Ventura in the ring with Dennis Dunn. I think the town of Hempstead can make a lot of money. And be wise, put your money on Dennis Dunn. Then we have Anthony D'Esposito, Law and Order, NYPD detective. It's very important that we take these things seriously. Safety is of the utmost in the town of Hempstead. Followed by Chris Carini, Transportation MTA Union Chief. So we have the union, transportation, and the PBA. But now, the best for last. Senior Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby changed the town of Hempstead forever. She made Hempstead what it should always be. Town of Hempstead is over 350 years old. She wanted proper representation. She accomplished that. There's a reason why I wake up in Garden City and I'm not in the township of Garden City. There's a reason why the people of Uniondale wake up and they're not in the town of Uniondale. It is Hempstead. Hempstead is the core to the town of Hempstead. And I just want everybody to acknowledge that Dorothy Gooseby, who I love very much, who's a mentor, I would always use her advice on anything that is done because she has truly proven herself to be a kingmaker. Thank you, Dorothy. Three points. I got Dorothy Gooseby's memo on unity. And so I'm going to make 3 points of lessons of my father. The first one was 50 years ago. He used to dress us up, all 7 of us. He would come in. He would check us out before we went to church. And he would say, "You are musketeers. One for all for one. No one No one greater than each other. No one greater than the people that we served. My father had other two jobs, insurance and a lawyer. Now, once did he ever mention anything about those two professions? It was always about public servants. It was always about being a musketeer for the public. That is lesson number one of the unity of the Muscarella family. And unity is what the memo said with Dorothy Gooseby. And that's why I tell you the story today. But the second, as I sit here with Al D'Amato and Peter King, who was on the board with my father, renovation. My father was getting a lot of calls about renovation, renovating sanitation dumps for parks, renovating the open space for parking lots. My mother actually had a conversation with you have to stop before you become councilman parking lot. Where are all these cars coming from? But today, those parking lots are filled. So renovation is coming. It's coming to the building department. It's coming to the parks. Unity, renovation. And the third thing is innovation. The last thing I remember was my father disappearing for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, leaving a mother with 7 children is never a good idea. The day he comes back, my mother announces he's coming back with an announcement. An announcement was that he went to Germany and that the town of Hempstead was no longer going to bury their garbage. We were going to recycle it. The board back then was unified. That was the first recycling plant in the country, in the state of New York. Innovation, unity, renovation, and innovation. Those are the three things. And the winner goes to Dorothy Gooseby with unity. The unity must be with CSEA, Teresa, Eric, Mike, and all of the town of Hempstead public servants. Unity, spoken by a former councilman, my father, Joseph Muscarella. And so I'm going to say it like a prayer, so it sinks in. One for all for one. No one greater than each other. No one greater than the people that we serve. With unity, renovation, innovation, we guarantee to keep the town of Hempstead special.
Having spent a long and distinguished career in the New York City MTA and Port Authority Police Departments, our next inductee has certainly succeeded in his mission to protect and serve the people of New York. But despite his excellent record of service in the city, it's his leadership qualities in bringing that mission to the town of Hempstead that has made Seaford resident Christopher Carini a role model, a leader, and now a town councilman in the 5th District. As the Vice President of Seaford for the Wantaw Seaford Homeowners Association and the Director of the group's Neighborhood Watch Committee, Christopher helps educate local residents on suspicious activities, community concerns, quality of life issues, and how to protect their homes and their families. Christopher Carini led efforts to increase security in Seaford schools, helping to create and ultimately serve on the school board's Security Guard Advisory Committee. This resulted in the hiring of additional security guards, as well as increased hours and training to help keep students, teachers, and employees safe. At Christopher's recommendation, the school district joined the RAVE program, which allows school officials to bypass the regular 911 system and give the Nassau County Police Department direct access to the school cameras via a system of panic buttons. Christopher is also an experienced negotiator and an advocate for the people whom he serves. As an executive board member for the Port Authority Police Benevolent Association, Christopher represents the interests of 1,800 police officers. He was responsible for reviewing the association's annual spending plans, as well as advocating in Albany on the union's behalf. From serving on the prestigious Nassau County Police Commissioners Community Council to posting a simple but informative social media message with the news of the day, Christopher Carini is helping to keep the town of Hempstead a great place in which to live, work, and raise a family. Inducting Christopher Carini will be Hempstead Town Councilman Anthony D'Esposito.
Your right hand raised. I, Christopher Carini,
I, Christopher Carini,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the laws and code of the town of Hempstead.
and the laws and codes of the town of Hempstead.
And I will faithfully execute
And I will faithfully execute
the duties to which I've been elected
to the duties for which I've been elected
as councilman of the town of Hempstead
as councilman of the town of Hempstead
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Councilman.
Thank you. So I got to follow up Muscarella. It's going to be a tough act to follow. That was great. I do promise you that I'm going to be the briefest of the speakers today. You can applaud. It's an honor to stand here before you as the councilman for the 5th Councilmanic District. I'm looking forward to continuing my career in public service that began 22 years ago when I first took the oath and became a New York City police officer. I will later serve with the MTA Police Department and the past 17 years with the Port Authority Police Department. Serving as a police officer taught me how to face my fears, make quick life-changing decisions, and to put others ahead of myself. I got to witness the evil that exists in our world, as well as the true compassion that drives the forces of good. Being exposed to all sides of humanity provided me a unique perspective of our society, one that will be invaluable in my new role. Early in my adult life, I learned to express my opinions, stand up for my beliefs, and to take care of others. This passion led me to serve as an advocate and resulted in serving as a union representative for the Port Authority PBA Executive Board for 14 years. At home, I became a civic leader and a school safety advocate. In these roles, I worked closely with the town to achieve many improvements in the community. I look forward to continuing what was started, but now as your councilman. I am ready to tackle the issues together with the great CSCA Local 880 workforce towards the benefit of all residents of the town of Hempstead. My life of advocacy and public service has led me here. It's a great honor to have been elected to serve and a responsibility I don't take lightly. I want to thank the residents of the 5th Councilmanic District for placing their trust in me. Thank you to Chairman Cairo for your support that enabled me to be the nominee and to represent the residents of the 5th District. Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge my friend Greg Colarossi for his invaluable help throughout my campaign. I want to thank my parents, Joe and Diane, for shaping me into the person I am today. I want to thank my brother Tim, who's down in Atlanta today. I also want to say hello to my daughter Ava and my son Joey, who are in the audience today. You are the absolute inspiration of my life. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to thank my wife Danielle. You are the foundation of my life, and you keep me grounded. I could not have asked for a better partner in life. Thank you for your incredible support, and I love you. I promise to serve our community with integrity, to never lose sight of why I am here, to serve the residents of America's largest township to the best of my abilities. In closing, I'm going to tell a story now because it seemed like I can keep it fast now. So it's the day after Election Day, and I meet my toughest constituent, my son Joey, 7. We're coming home from his friend's house at the corner of Hudson and Lincoln and Seaford, and a street sign is missing at the top of the pole. So Joey points at it and goes, "Dad, a street sign's missing." "Yes, Joe." "Aren't you in charge of fixing that?" "Yeah, I am, Joe." So I call up the next day. I mention the sign. Next day, Joey walks off the bus. "Dad, the sign's still not fixed." This went on for 7 days now. Finally, after the 7th day, it's fixed. And he goes, "Dad, I got it fixed." I go, "Yes." He goes, "Why is government so slow?" I go, "Joe, we're going to be here a lot longer than a week to explain that one." Thank you.
I would like to ask Reverend Michael F. Duffy, pastor of Our Lady of Lourdes Church of Malvern, to offer the benediction. Please rise.
As the pastor of Our Lady of Lourdes Church in Malvern, I was very proud that my parishioner, Chairman Cairo, mentioned the Blessed Mother. It is true that the Blessed Mother is a partisan on the football field, but I can assure you she is not a partisan today. We entrust this new administration of this great town of Hempstead to her maternal care, and so let us pray. Most Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the gift of life and newness of life. We beg your gift of blessing upon Don Clavin and this administration and this entire town of Hempstead. We entrust this town of Hempstead to the maternal care of your mother, Mary Most Holy. We ask, O Lord, that you would shield us with your protection. Give each of these elected officials wisdom and courage, grace, and peace. Help, O Lord, to make them bridge builders, to unite this village, to unite this island, to unite all peoples that they serve. We thank you for allowing us to exercise our freedom and for it to be so beautifully displayed today. Bless all of us as we go home, that we too can be bridge builders, that we too can be agents of peace. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. May Almighty God bless you all, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless the town of Hempstead. Thank you. God bless you.
Please remain standing as I reintroduce Christopher Macchio, who will lead us in the singing of God Bless America. All right, everybody, here we go. At this time, I would ask the town board to return to the dais. The town board to conclude. Yes. The town board will conclude the meeting, and after that, please join us in the lobby for refreshments shortly right after that. Chris. Yeah. Chris. Okay.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Oh my God, yeah, that's when I started. A long time ago.
Yeah, she's fine with it. Chris is going to do it. How are you? Good. Everything all right? Good. Chris is going to make the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Blakeman. Aye. Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman D'Esposito.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Senior Councilwoman Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
I move that the meeting be adjourned. Listen, you gotta adjourn the meeting. Listen, you gotta adjourn the meeting.
We did. You did. She just made the motion.
Johnny. Stay safe, Ron. See you.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm going to go to Albany tomorrow, but I'll play on Thursday. Are you going up to Albany? Okay, all right. I just figured I was called, so I'm going to go up and you know. Oh, we'll talk. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm heading up to Albany now.
Hey!
Yeah, no way. Give us a shout tomorrow.
I'm going to be up there. All right, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to drive up like at 9 in the morning.
Listen, Kevin Black is going to be up there too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.